All right, you guys. Hey, so I said I was going to be doing this live. It's live, OG. What's up? I said I was going to be doing this live, and so I'm doing it now, and it's called the Mixed Race Rabbit Hole, and we're going to be looking at something that's going on in Australia right now. And although obviously we are not Australian, when we talk about the reparations argument, when we talk about integrating biracial, quadroon, octoroon, etc., individuals and calling them Black, we can kind of learn a lot from what's going on in Australia right now as far as their version of reparations that the Aborigines have been given and how it's kind of been co-opted by mixed persons and not just biracials, right? But moving past biracial, like I said, to the quadroon, octoroon, and onward status. Now, I know people are uncomfortable with those words. I've said on my channel before, I'm Gullah, so we do use a lot of those old terms. I don't mean them to be disparaging. They're just, when I say octoroon, you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? If I say quadroon, you know what I mean. You know what kind of admixture I'm talking about. And so it's just much easier for me to do that, whether it offends people or not. So I'm gonna go ahead and, hey, you are changing up everything. Like you keep changing your name. Hi, Tiffany. Hey, Darafil. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. I want us to watch this together. I'm going to be stopping and talking about it with you guys. And then because I'm trying out this Zoom thing, I'm going to attempt to open up my Zoom meeting so that you guys can come up and we can talk about it on a panel. So let's hope that I can do that because I've never actually done like hosted a Zoom meeting before. So I just hope that I can get it right, you guys. All right, so let me go ahead and share my screen with you. I want to make sure I can still see your comments. I'm going to try to push those off to the side because I want to be able to type. And let me share my screen. Share. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see. Hopefully you guys can see. So I'm going to go ahead and start it.
Tonight on Insight, Aboriginal or not?
Who gets to determine who is Aboriginal?
What happened when you applied to have your Aboriginality confirmed?
I was denied. I get the spat in the face. There needs to be a better system in place. You just have to look at me and tell I'm Aboriginal.
I'm an Aboriginal Australian. You totally look like a white fella to me.
We shouldn't be judging each other by colour.
Hello, I'm Anton Enos, filling in for Jenny.
So before we start, I just want to make it clear what this discussion is about. So as we know, it just was about 50 years ago that they stopped stealing Aboriginal children and they stopped attempting to breed the Aboriginal people out of existence by admixing them with white on purpose. Now, the programs to do that were government sanctioned programs. They were done in the name of Darwinism. I'm not just saying that, but evolutionary theory and Darwinism is how they justified doing this to the Black Aboriginals. They have provided some sort of reparations to them. And the reparations look a bunch of different ways. So it allows them free schools. It ensures that, you know, companies have to have a certain amount of Black people that are of Aboriginal descent hired there. It's supposed to kind of undo, because obviously in 50 years, people are not going to suddenly stop being racist. So it's supposed to undo a lot of the damage that was done because of their programs. So in this conversation, they're going to be talking to a lot of people who claim to be Aboriginal. And I want us to pay close attention to the people who are claiming to be Aboriginal. And I want us to consider how we embrace almost everybody as Black and how we can watch this quickly backfire. And this is relevant not just in our day-to-day lives, but even in the reparations conversation and just what the face of the Black community ought to look like. And I'm going to be touching on some interesting talking points that a lot of these mixed people use that we've armed them with. Now, I thought I was a good person to have this discussion because nobody can accuse me of not liking mixed people. And I might drag in a couple of my children just to give a little bit of commentary so I can show a contrast of how this can look when they're parented right. But I thought it would be an opportunity to speak honestly on this subject because a lot of times when you are Black, and you speak on these topics, people will accuse you of hating mixed people. And that's just an easy target. So let's go ahead and get into it. And I'll be pausing it here and there so we can talk. And like I said, later on, I'll open up the panel so that any of you guys that want to come up can come up.
Okay, welcome to all of you. Let's get straight into it. Dallas, Scott, tell us what happened when you applied to have your Aboriginality confirmed.
Well, cut a long story short, I was denied, and when I went in to ask about it, no one had given me any response or anything why I was rejected until I went in the second time to actually have my Aboriginality approved, and that's when they finally sat me down and said that they hadn't eyeballed me enough, and that's what it comes down to. One board can turn around and say, right, we're all the ones sitting on the board to say, yes, you're an Aboriginal, when I can walk into any shopping centre and have a security guard follow me around. So, as everyone sort of knows, it's just one of those things where, you know, when I tell my friends, hey, I got knocked back from the Aboriginality, all my friends just laughed at me and said, no, you're going to be kidding me. So, when I thought about that, I just thought, no, this is absolutely ridiculous. And as I find out later on, it was due to some personal issues that were going on. That's why I got mine actually knocked back. It was someone from the outside talked to someone on the inside in the co-op, and I was stopped straight away.
So, Dallas, how did it make you feel when you heard this news?
I felt like it was a big joke, really. Serious. I mean, living where I am right now, like I'm still in emergency accommodation. I still, still waiting for a house. Can't get any rental property. I've never used the Aboriginal purse. I've always gone off my own back, worked hard, done my own thing, and then once I've come back to actually use one of these services, it's like getting spat in the face. And
well, you say it sounds like a bit of a joke, and we can all have a laugh about it, that someone who looks like you can be knocked back. But we have your uncle here, Wilfred Carter. What do you think when you hear that something like this happens to your nephew?
Well, I think it's quite degrading, really. I mean, you go into organisations like this and the people who are hired come out here, white administrations comes out in Aboriginal organisations, and they bring out these gammon blackfellas, and they're the people who are going to be saying, prove that you're Aboriginality, prove that you are who you are. Where these guys are fair-skinned, why don't they prove who they are? Why they ask a person of Dallas's statue of his Aboriginality? Can't they see it? Are they blind? Why is it so?
Let's turn to Tara now. Your story is slightly different in that you and your brother both applied to get this confirmation, but you got different outcomes. Tell us about it.
Look at this chick. She's claiming to be Aboriginal too. They're just claiming to be Aboriginal. I'm sorry. I get so triggered every time I watch this. I'm going to try not to get triggered.
Yeah, so I was living in Canberra. I'd only been to Canberra for about 3 years. I grew up in Western Sydney. And we went in there and I was handed the form to fill in. And my brother, they just asked for his name and they said that they'd basically give him the certificate straight away. So basically straight on the spot was signed and given to him. But for me, I went through that process of filling it in and then came back declined.
That sounds a bit bizarre. Did you think it was a bit strange?
I thought it was strange that, my full blood brother that walked in with me at the same time could be accepted as Aboriginal, but same mother and father couldn't be. And the only basis I could base that on was the fact that he has...
So I just want to say this woman is a quarter Aboriginal. So she has one Aboriginal grandparent. I believe she has like a mixed parent, so a mulatto parent. and a white parent, if I'm clear on her admixture. So she's about a quarter Aboriginal. She is about as Aboriginal as I am white. To put it in perspective, most Black people of most ADOS in the United States are 15 to 25% Caucasian. That would be like us claiming white. That would be like me claiming white or you claiming white. So she's about the same admixture of Black, and she is claiming Aboriginal. And she was doing this because she wanted to get a job that was only supposed to be given to a Black Aboriginal. And she feels some kind of way that she was originally turned down. And you're going to watch these people kiss her butt later on, which is pretty disgusting to me, just to be honest.
Probably more olive skin than I do.
So what happened then?
I honestly gave up for the next 4 or 5 years. I was sick of people questioning my Aboriginality because I had fair skin and needing to prove it constantly every day to people that I was Aboriginal because I had the fair skin.
So eventually you did get the confirmation.
Yeah, I initially I had some issues though because I've never lived on my country. My father has never lived on country and my grandmother has never lived on country. So they moved quite early. So I'm in the situation that even when I go back to where I grew up in Western Sydney, that no one there they know my family, my grandmother, my father, but they don't know our family. And so even when I went back here, I had that issue. But I did go to a corporation where I'm from who does know my family and was able to get that process that way. But it was a difficult and a long one.
So a corporation, of course, is one of the organisations that hands out these confirmations.
Yeah.
Land councils are another organisation. So once you got the confirmation, it then took another twist because then you applied for a job. What can you tell us about that?
Back, it was only in 2010, so it's not that many years ago, I went for a job with Generation 1. And during that process, the lady that interviewed me said that she'd have to get back to me regarding the job because what she had been told is that she needed to hire an Aboriginal person that looked Aboriginal. So I received the phone call the next day, informed me that I wasn't to get the job because they had cut their numbers.
So she's mad because she was denied Aboriginality status, obviously because she's white, right? But then she managed to finagle her way because she has a biracial parent. One of her parents is biracial, and she has a fully Aboriginal grandparent. Follow it. This is the problem with us calling mixed people Black. I'm going to say it right now. And I have mixed kids, y'all. We cannot call them Black. They are half Black. Because they are called Black, because in her case, they are called Black, they are called Aboriginal. You have this woman who is clearly white claiming Black status and feeling triggered because when she applied for a job, they said, well, we need somebody that looks Aboriginal. And just so we are clear, because I don't want us to be confused on what an Aboriginal looks like. Everybody knows, but let's just bring the point home, to baby food level. Let's see. Let's just bring the point home to baby food level. So let's look at some photos of them. Not mixed ones. Let's find some photos of full-blown, just plain Black Aboriginals. These are Aboriginals. These boys are Aboriginals. This man is an Aboriginal. So when we talk about Aboriginals, like, these are full-on Black people. You know that they have really pronounced features and things like that. These men are Aboriginal. So Aboriginals have a very particular look. They have a very, very particular look. They cannot be mistaken for anything. They cannot be mistaken for anything else. The reason that these people are forced to hire Aboriginals is they are forced to hire Aboriginals because of the fact that They are forced to hire Aboriginals. I don't. I think Liz has it. They are forced to hire Aboriginals because of the fact that when people see people who look like this, they don't want to give them jobs. Now, can we honestly say, even if this woman is a quarter Black, even if this like fully white woman, where is she at? Even if this obviously white woman is a quarter Black and has one Black grandparent, can we honestly say anybody looks at her and discriminates against her because of her Black skin? Is anybody looking at her and clocking that Aboriginality? So the purpose of the quote unquote reparations that the Aboriginals were given, part of those are social programs that mean that Aboriginals get placed in positions at jobs, is to compensate for the discrimination that people that look like this go through. So she was told, we need somebody that looks like this. This is who we're trying to hire. We are trying to hire these people. And the owner of the company where she was refused a job is about to kiss her butt in just a minute. But is it a problem for a woman that's clearly white to take a job from a person that looks like this because she has one grandparent that's Black? I mean, that's the question that we have to ask ourselves. Is that a problem? I would say that's a huge problem. But what's even more of a problem is how people are reacting to this. And this is a problem that Black people create for themselves. Because if one of us has a child with someone who's not Black, everybody wants to call that child Black. When that child is not Black, that child has a parent that is not Black. At best, that child is half Black. But when we call a mulatto Black, what we leave it open to is a person like her saying they have a Black parent and looking white as hell and having access to services that are designed for Black people. And as we have this reparations argument with ADOS, we might want to strongly consider where we're going to draw the line on this. But let's let her keep talking, because you guys have to see this man stick his tongue all the way up her butthole, because it's really disgusting.
And during that process, the lady that interviewed me said that she'd have to get back to me regarding the job, because what she had been told is that she needed to hire an Aboriginal person that looked Aboriginal. So I received the phone call the next day to inform me that I wasn't to get the job because they had cut their numbers. So not that I wasn't, because she went away to check, about the colour issue, and what had come back was they were cutting numbers. So that was a bit funny.
Did it seem odd to you in the sense that you thought you did look Aboriginal?
To be honest, I know I don't look Aboriginal. I look at myself, I see my mother completely. She's of Scottish heritage. I don't deny that at all. So I understand when people see me face value that I don't look what they expect to see of an Aboriginal person. And I think that in itself is an issue.
I just want to mention that Warren Mundine is in the audience today, who's the CEO of Generation One, but it was outside of your tenure that this happened, and the company did apologise.
Yeah.
But just
but still on the same basis, it wasn't Generation One. We hired a company to do a service for us. That company then subcontracted to do a service for us. That company then made this horrible situation worse. So the former CEO then came out and apologised for that, and it did give us an opportunity to raise the issue of the diversity of Aboriginal people.
At the same time, though, I guess as a corporation, if I'm hiring somebody who's going to hire somebody, I need to take 100% responsibility for anything that they may or may not say. As an Aboriginal corporate company wanting to aim to increase Aboriginal employment, we should have been hiring PR companies that have Aboriginal focuses and not companies that have no idea about Aboriginality.
What is your background?
I think it's pretty insulting. She said they should hire companies that have Aboriginal focus. I would argue that company did have Aboriginal focus. They looked at her, they saw a white woman. They understand those programs are for Black people who just 50 years ago were being bred out so that there's almost none of them left and are in abject poverty. And they looked at her and said, you don't need this job. That little sprinkle of Aboriginal blood you have in you is not causing you to, have any level of discrimination. You look white. If you wouldn't have pressed the issue to be called Aboriginal, the world would look at you and see a white woman. Not even a woman passing, just a full-on white woman. She's 25% Aboriginal at best. That's very, very little Aboriginal blood. Like I said, that's the admixture most ADOS have of white. We're not out here trying to claim white. Because when you look at us, you see Black people. That little 15, 25% does not make you anything. But see, like I said, I guarantee her biracial parent is considered Aboriginal. So then how can you tell their child they're not part Black too? How can you tell a biracial who you are calling Black's child that presents white because they have a white parent? How then can you call that child and tell that child they're not Black? So, you know, we want to claim everybody and everything, and Black doesn't look like anything and but y'all, we might want to quit with this, and we're going to see this go downhill. And I want you guys to watch how they turn on the Black people. Watch how these little octoroons and quadroons turn on the actual Black people in the audience. Because notice the audience is filled with quote unquote Aboriginals, but most of them are mixed. And this will be the face of what we see here too if we don't stop playing games and claiming everybody as Black. Pretty soon you're going to look up and you're going to be the minority, because you would have called everybody Black who is not Black, to the point where being actually Black ends up being the minority, and you're going to get attacked the way they're about to attack these Black people in the audience.
Is your Aboriginal ancestry?
Well, my dad's a Wiradjuri man from out near Piambong, and he has an Aboriginal mother and a non-Aboriginal father, and my mum's non-Aboriginal. So I have one Aboriginal grandparent.
So if I were to ask you to describe yourself, what would you say?
I'm an Aboriginal Australian. That's how I categorise myself, because being Australian, my mum's family has been out here right from the white invasion.
Dallas, what about you?
My father, he passed away just recently. Campbell Carter. He was the eldest son of Charlie Carter, who was the man who got Lake Tyers handed back to the Aboriginal people. So, you know, and also my mother, she's from Walliga Lake. Yeah, that's my grandfather. Yeah, so I've come from a proud man like him. After hearing all the great stories that I've heard, I feel very proud of who my parents and grandparents were.
Well, another story is Brianna, who is a kid that was trying to get into the Queensland. Story is Brianna, who is a kid that was trying to get into the Queensland Police. You've been sitting exams recently, I believe. But in order to do that, you wanted to get your Aboriginality confirmed. Tell us what happened in your case.
Well, what I've done is I've applied through Queensland Police Force, and I've gone through the same entry as everybody else, and I've just sat that exam waiting to hear back. But I do want to have that back up as...
See, this is another one. This is another one. Okay. She could pass for a Jewess. Honestly, she could be Jewess. You know, one of those exotic whites. Turkish. You know, she could be one of those. But she has a biracial parent. You can see her father is the man sitting next to her. She has a mulatto for a parent. Clearly, he mated with somebody who is not Black. They produced her. And she's trying to claim Aboriginal benefits too. She's claiming Black too. And what is really shocking is that their mixed parents are co-signing this. Like zero loyalty. The mixed parents are co-signing this. I showed this video to my children, and my children were like, oh no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But the thing is, the mixed parents, they have to co-sign it. The mixed parents are in a position where they cannot speak up and go, yeah, no, actually, you're not Black. This is when mixed people unite, and they're uniting against the Black people. But let's let her talk. because she's about to tell her sob story of not being able to access Black reparations benefits too. While ADOS are thinking of reparations and we want to call everybody Black.
If I don't pass the exam, what everyone else has to do is they can't resit the exam for another 12 months, whereas I get the backup of being able to apply for the JEP program
What is the JEP program?
for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So they do an extra 6 months at the academy, brings them up to speed with everyone else basically before they go into the academy and do all their training.
Well, sitting right next to you is your father, Leslie. What can you tell us about the process that Brianna's been through trying to get this confirmation?
Well, yeah, we just approached our local Aboriginal Land Council and the same thing. You know, you turn up and say, well, I'd like to apply for it now. They tell you that we don't know you, and when you know your history, you know your tribal clan, and you've got other people saying, well, we can't accept, or you get rejected.
How long had you lived in the area?
24 years.
Pretty long time.
Yeah, my 2 girls are born in Tweed Heads area. I can understand that they want to stop a lot of people claiming that they using these services and that.
Do you think Brianna needs that service, that additional assistance? Could she have just got through on her own merits?
Well, that's what she's doing, but that's just there for a backup, and so we just decided we'll go down and get our apply for that confirmation.
So having had this experience, what is your opinion now?
Notice that he said we decided that we would go do this, which is really, really interesting to me. We decided. So her mixed father played a part in this girl going out there claiming Black. When you know her other parent's not Black, y'all. You can look at her and tell.
How the system works.
Well, I think there needs to be a better system in place. You know, and a lot of us here would feel like, you know, as you know your history and that. Why do I have to really prove when you just have to look at me until I'm Aboriginal? The other young lady up the front, I can concur with her too, because I've got cousins that are, you know, fair skinned too, but and my mum's sister's auntie, their son, white as, but you know, they've still got to go through that process also.
Faye, you were knocked back. You and your siblings
Yes.
applied to the Redfern Council. What was your experience?
Absolutely disgusting.
Y'all, this is another one. Look at her. I cannot with these people. I'm sorry. I cannot with them. This is another one claiming Black. Y'all, we're going to stop calling this mixed people Black. This is another one claiming Black. This is another one claiming Black. When white people turn themselves Black, this is the game that we're playing. Now, you guys know, I'm a mother of mixed children, and I can't call my girls up right now because they're having a phone call. But if you ask any of my children from, age 24 down, if they are Black, they will tell you no. They will say, I am half Black. And they will not produce children because they don't think they're Black. If God forbid they pick a partner that's not Black and produce a woman that looks like her, like a full-on white woman, they will not be calling their kids Black. And as a Black grandmother, I would not call those kids Black. That crap would stop with me. Don't claim Black. You're not Black. You're not Black. You're not a representation of Blackness. You're not a part of this life. You can love your Black blood. You can love that you have that little 15, 25% Black. You can appreciate that. You can learn about your heritage because it's part of your heritage, but you're not Black. That's not what you are. You're not a Black person. But see, we have dug this hole for ourselves, you guys, because around the world, and there was a reason, right? Back in the day, a mixed person was a Black person. And as far as how they were treated. And our community has gotten accustomed to calling them Black. But if my little green-eyed, light-skinned daughter is as Black as me, then what am I? Like, what am I then? What are you? If mixed people are as Black as us, what are we, y'all? You're looking at an audience full of people who claim to be Aboriginal. Count how many dark-skinned faces you see. You know what Aborigines look like. These people are dark. They have big, wide noses, big lips. You guys know what Aborigines look like. They are super dark, super wide noses, super wide. They have a very distinctive look. You will never confuse an Aborigine with anybody else. They look Aboriginal. Imagine how much intermixing and admixing it took to produce a woman that looks like her. And she's going to have a funky attitude because somebody won't call her Aboriginal? This is what an Aboriginal is. And you guys play around with these mixed people and keep calling them Black, and that's what a Black person will be too. You'll be the one looking dumb out here. The next thing you look up and Black is going to be blonde hair and blue eyes. You're going to look up and Black is going to be blonde hair and blue eyes because you guys often, not everybody in my chat, I'm just saying, a lot of us want to get tight. A lot of us want to get tight when somebody says a mixed person isn't Black. A lot of us want to get tight if a mixed person is not called Black. We want to feel some kind of way about it. But then what happens when they pull a Meghan Markle on us and go breed with a white person and produce a woman that looks like her? And then that mixed quote unquote person wants to be Black. Then what are you going to say? Because you already called their parent Black. So if their parent is Black, this woman is mixed too. And this is the game we're playing. But let's let this white woman talk about how she's Black, because it won't do us. You know, this is something that's really going on in the world. So we really have to look at this. We are watching Aboriginal be turned from a full-on dark as hell Black person to this before our eyes. This is happening. And don't think it won't happen here too. While we don't want to have lines and divisions and Black can be everything and everybody's Black and we're going to cape for everybody with a little inkling of Blackness and it's the one drop rule, that's cute. That's cute until you're in a room full of people who look white claiming to be Black and you're the odd one out. It's all cute until you end up being the one that's not really Black.
It was horrifying. They called us liars, they abused us. I tried twice, and my sister, they then voted. 3 sisters. My sister missed out by 1 vote. Yep, me and my other sister, we just missed out altogether.
So at that point, did you identify as Aboriginal?
They didn't know me in the community. I've always, all my family friends know me as an Aboriginal, always. But of course, I never grew up in that area at that time. My family have been in Waterloo 120 years. My mum died 2 years ago, been there 90 years. And we weren't good enough because people have just come in and taken Waterloo, Redfern over, been there 20, 30 years. They don't want to know the people that were there. And the whole meeting was horrific.
What reason did they give you for knocking you back?
None of them knew us. And all the paperwork we had, it could be all lies. The photographs can't be yours.
So in an official sense, you were deemed not to be Aboriginal.
Yes.
But in your heart, how do you feel?
I've always known. You only have to look at my mum. I've always known where we were. My mum, my beautiful mum, denied it to her grave. But she grew up in a bad time.
So why would that have...
I'm mad because her mom looks white too. I can't do this crap. I'm mad she pulled out a picture of her mom like it was going to prove something. This woman busted. And let me say something. I am very sympathetic because later on, somebody's going to try to pull on our heartstrings and talk about how a lot of these mixed people didn't choose to be mixed. Because real talk, Australia did have a program that was sanctioned by the government under Darwinism and evolutionary theory. While everybody wants to be a flippant evolutionist around here and believe in Darwin, over in Australia, they used evolutionary theory and Darwinism, this is real history, as a reason to breed out and kill Tasmanians and Aboriginals. until 50 years ago, they were over there basically just trying to get rid of them, seeing how quick can we make these people white, survival of the fittest. They literally quoted Darwin and evolutionary theory as the reason this was okay. So I understand that a lot of these people are full on white by no, fault of their own, but you're still white. Now, the 15 to 25% black in you, 10% black in you can be angry at white people, and rightfully so, but you don't get to be an honorary black because white people mess stuff up. Like, that's a sucky thing that happened over there. The intentional breeding out of the Aborigines to produce white people, and clearly it's worked in some cases, was a disgusting thing. But is it so disgusting? Because if they had any loyalty to blackness, they wouldn't want to claim black anyway. They would be proud of their little 15, 20% black in them, but they would never claim black. Because by claiming black, they are doing the same thing as those white Australians did, which was attempt to wipe out blackness. If you are Aboriginal, what are the black Aboriginals? Who are they? What are they? What is the significance of their history? What is the significance of breeding out their color if you represent what they are? There was nothing to breed out if they look like her. But I'm mad she presented a picture of a fully white mom as evidence of something. Like, let that be the freaking day. She pulled out a picture of a white woman. This lady pulled out a picture of a white woman and said, all you had to do is look at my mom. No, your mom is white too, okay? Y'all are both white.
Why would you have denied it?
Well, she had a son. He was born dark, and she gave him to her elder brother to rear because he was whiter than her. Because they'd have taken him from her. She said, my grandfather said, you've got to give him to your brother because he's whiter. You will be able to keep him. They'll take him from you. So she gave him up.
So what do you know of your family history that traces
It's very hard to find out, but we received a letter from the Aboriginal, I can't think of it, in Canberra, and they stated they are connecting my family to the Darug tribe. And at that meeting in Redfern, one woman said she's never even heard of the Darug tribe.
Well, we have the CEO of the Land Council that Faye applied to here with us, Paul Morris. Good evening to you. Do you remember this case? What was the reason for Faye being knocked back?
This was a little bit before my time, but it's very disappointing to hear that.
Now, I want to ask you guys how you feel about him. See, some of these, like the host is Aboriginal. The host of this show claims Aboriginal. The guy that owns that company that wouldn't let the white woman in claims Aboriginal. This guy claims Aboriginal. And I know some people are going to be tempted to let like people that look like this man pass. Like, oh, he doesn't look as white. Let's let him pass. He looks like a little Hispanic or a little pygmy, white pygmy person to me. But honestly, like, none of these people can slide. Like, none of you guys get to claim black. He's sitting on a whole board telling people if they're black or not, and he's not even black. Because we will, now let's be honest, you guys, if a person has some features that we can feel, could translate as blackness, we will let them slide as black. We really will. We'll be like, oh, the hair is curly. Oh, something about the nose. We are quick to try to find anything that is relatable to blackness so that we can claim somebody. So how do you guys feel about this man? He's less white than the other ones. He doesn't look as white as some of these other people. So, but he's sitting on the board telling people if they're black or not. He's sitting on an Aboriginal council determining who is black and who is not black. And I will argue he's not even black himself. Well, you don't belong on the council. You're not in a position to tell anybody anything. You are legit not even black.
She got to be considered for a member, to become a member, you have to be adult Aboriginal, reside in the local area, and the other part to it is be accepted by the community as an Aboriginal.
So was it just a judgment call? Do you need proof? How does this work?
Aboriginal people know each other down here in Sydney, even though it's a very transient place. And we have people coming from all over the countryside to live, work, go to school, go to university. A lot of the community that live around the place know each other and they're connected to a lot of people all over the state. So when someone comes here, they'll know your family name, or they can connect you to a family group that they know. If people get knocked back or refused, we ask them to go back to their community where they're recognised, where they're acknowledged.
But in this case, it was a family living there for decades. It seems
Yeah,
unusual
these
that
are
they wouldn't be
situations
known
that
in the
being in
community.
Sydney that we come up against a lot because it's such a transient place and the membership changes so much sometimes. So
Back to it.
There was a woman, a young girl came after us, who was sitting there after we'd been denied. She was from Darwin. She was there in Sydney for 1 week. She stood up, said I'm Aboriginal, they took her. Straight from Darwin. No connection to it. She had no paperwork, nothing.
Is it a transparent process, Paul?
well, I can only speak for Metro Land Council. It's one that seems to be working. It's not perfect. I don't think there is a process that is perfect.
I think we also have to find membership, and board of land councils are using very prescribed things that board members have to do, and acceptance and confirmation is not one of them, and that's not passing the buck. But membership is for all of the members. It's horrifying to hear it goes to votes. I think explanation processes and saying where you're from is probably a much better way, but I think drawing that connection, so it's not just board members who are sitting in.
I just want to be clear that he's claiming black too. I just want to throw that out there. This white man is claiming black too. We're about to hear his rather intriguing story in a minute of his blackness. He has a whole blackness narrative. He's not just claiming black. He's got a blackness struggle story. So we're going to be listening to that.
Consider judgment of other people.
Can I just say that there's a big reason for that? A lot of Aboriginal students are missing out on scholarships. A lot of Aboriginal people are missing out on jobs because there are people that do come in and say they're Aboriginal when they're not. And this puts everyone in two minds about membership.
And he brings up a good point, even though he's white. Aboriginal people are not getting scholarships. They're not getting jobs. All of these things were put out as part of their reparations package. And I want us to peep the Aboriginal reparations package too, because it looks a lot like our reparations package would look like, which is a package that gives really nothing to anybody but opportunities. So he's pointing out that jobs and scholarships and things that should go to Black people, not even people that look like him, to be real, but Black people should be getting them. Black people aren't getting them because they have blonde hair, blue-eyed Aboriginals running around talking about, I have one great-great-grandparent that was Black. I have one grandparent that's Black. I have a whole, 10 to 25% of Aboriginal in me. I have one parent that's a mulatto. And so full-on Black people are missing out on opportunities because somebody has a mulatto parent. Somebody has a Black grandparent or a Black great-grandparent. And this could never have happened if the community was firm, and we're not firm in the United States either, you guys. That's why we're using them to study us, because Black people tend to act the same everywhere. We want to claim everybody as Black. Worldwide, this seems to be a flaw in our people globally. We are ready to claim somebody as Black. Like this, just give us a reason to claim you as Black. I said there's that one YouTuber here on YouTube, Dawn Marie Cook. I'll show her in a minute. She's a full-on white woman with blue eyes and everything. You have Black women in her comment section telling her she's Black. Why? Because they call Mariah Carey Black. Mariah Carey is a mulatto that we call Black. And now that Mariah Carey is a version of what Black can be, you have a full-on white woman who puts on 2 layers of tan by her own admission. She wears 2 layers of tan with Black women in the comment section calling her Black because they can associate her with mulattoes like Mariah Carey that we are also calling Black. So we don't even know what Black looks like anymore. We're just all confused. We've called everybody Black to the point where we're incorporating whole white women. That's why Rachel Dolezal, is that her name? That's why she was able to pass for Black. Because if we had a standard for Blackness that included actually being Black, someone like her could never pass. Because we would look at her and go, well, obviously you're not Black. You're lacking the key component of Blackness, which would be this Black skin, okay? We can't just hop over the Black skin part of this thing. Like, should that not be the base of Blackness? Is that too simple? See, people will say that's simple. I have a light-skinned sister. I have a light-skinned sister. I have a light-skinned sister, y'all. And it'll be the light skin among us that will have us not wanting to make actually looking Black part of it. Because we'll be like, well, dang, but some Black people come out light. They do. I have a light-skinned grandmother. I have some light-skinned aunts and cousins. I have a lot of little green-eyed, you know, hazel-eyed, blue-eyed, honey blonde hair, light-skinned people running around in my family. Are we going to let everybody in? Because sometimes some of us show up light, and we know that lightness is because of admixture. We know that that lightness has become of admixture. I wasn't able to produce a daughter who was born with blue eyes because I have no admixture. We know that slavery has given us a level of admixture so that every once in a while we will pop out a light baby, even if both of us are brown, even if both of us are Black. But are we willing to then completely act like skin color has nothing to do with this life, to the detriment of us no longer even being able to tell who's Black or not? Just anybody could be Black. Any white woman with some self-tanner, any blonde hair, blue-eyed person, anybody who reminds us of Mariah Carey or Meghan Markle, you know what I'm saying? They get to be Black too.
Like I said, that's up to that group of members to determine whether they accept this person into that membership. That's their role. You know, if they don't, you know, there are other places they can go outside of a land council.
It's self-determination, but it's an imposed system anyway. I sit on the board of my land council, even though I don't live there, and it's one of the most difficult issues.
Well, so how subjective then would the process be?
Oh my gosh. Wait, that white guy said he sits on a, hold on, wait, did I skip? Hold, like I'm going crazy. Did this fool just say he sits on a land council? This white man sits on somebody's land council. He tells people if they are Black. He gets to claim Black and he gets to tell people if they're Black, y'all. That's a problem. He's oh wow.
We've got to be very clear about those kind of things. I mean, Dallas will, you know, you walk down the street, so certificate of not, sorry.
The issues that we've been hearing so far have shown just how ridiculous it is to have a formal set of criteria that some.
Oh, she's another one that's Black. Just so you guys, I know you can't tell Black from white now. So just so you know, she's Black too. I just want to throw that out there.
Has to adhere to. Obviously, what we should be looking at is first, why were those criteria established? What was the philosophy behind them? And we know those three criteria off the top of our heads. That's ancestry, clear enough. Self-recognition as an Aboriginal, self-determination, clear enough. But the third one was originally in.
So their criteria is ancestry. So any white person that can pull a Black person out of their butt somewhere in the history of their family can claim Aboriginal. A willingness to call themselves Black, okay, no matter what they look like. And the third is the one that all these white people are fighting back against. The third part of their criteria is the thing that white people don't like. They have to get Black people to agree that they're Black. Did you hear it? She's about to say the third. Number one, ancestry. You have a Black person somewhere in your family. Number two, you have to be willing to say that you're Black. And number three, Black people have to co-sign you. And we know that we co-sign everybody. We're like, we have our pens out and at ready to sign for anybody.
For the community in which you lived. It did not mean only Aboriginal communities or Aboriginal organisations. It meant that your neighbours knew that you were Aboriginal, and if you were going to get some vague benefit out of declaring yourself Aboriginal, then you weren't doing it in a hidden, secretive way, but you were quite open and honest about your Aboriginality. And once you are public about your Aboriginality, there's no way you can ever reverse it.
So Dallas, Mark says a little piece of paper doesn't define whether you're Aboriginal or not, but did you feel that it was a comment on your identity?
Well, yeah, it was. And as I said, I never used any of these services until my life went downhill real quick. And that was due to things that were out of my control. My wife having depression, my son and my foster parents and my real brother passing away. It's all in 1 year. I get hit with all of this. So I've got to try and pick myself up, swallow my pride, go into one of these places. And then I've got all them people telling me, hey, no, we're going to tell you whether you're Aboriginal or not.
There's so many stories. Mark, we haven't heard your story yet. What is your Aboriginal ancestry?
I'm Wiradjuri. My family, 4 generations, have been in Trengi, and you know, I did. My great-great-grandmother was born in the Lachlan Valley, and my great-great-grandmother was born on the banks of the Macquarie River the day the railway came to Dubbo, and then Mum and Nan were both born in Trengi, and that's where I grew up. So.
I saw you describe once as blonde, blue-eyed, and fair skinned. I'm not so sure
Yeah.
about the blonde anymore. But
Have you always the biggest fear? You know.
In spite of the your appearance, have you always identified as Aboriginal?
What I find interesting about this conversation is if you've got a choice about it. You grew up in a small country town. We didn't have choice about identity. We were that Aboriginal family. There's a couple of other people who went through the Andrew Bolt litigation, and that was probably the most offensive thing that happened in my life, where somebody from the outside questioned you. You know, I was raised by my mother and grandmother. My father was never, and his English never featured in my life. So my experiences are just that.
We have to get it right tonight. We can't keep fighting amongst ourselves anymore. The Aboriginality is a cultural construct. We make it. We define it.
Well, tonight on Insight, we're talking about Aboriginal identity. Well, Dallas, I've had a look at your blog. It's a pretty straight-talking, hard-hitting kind of forum. Tell us about it and why you started it.
Well, I was going through all of this, getting rejected. I thought to myself, why not? And, you know, it just sort of snowballed from there.
You're not shy about pointing a finger and saying, you say you're Aboriginal, but you're really not. That's pretty daring stuff.
If they want to identify as Aboriginal, that's great, because the Aboriginal people, we're open. But when the people do say that they are Aboriginal, stand up and be proud. But don't put your hand in the till where the money goes. That the money needs to be sorted out and going to the right people. Like there's kids out there that's still going hungry, but yet there's people going through universities who, sorry to say, but they're white, and we still got little black kids running around that don't have any shoes on, or they're still hungry. It's about time that us blackfellas said, right, the kids need the money. It should be more of a needs-based sort of thing.
So where do you draw the line between those that should qualify for assistance and those that should not?
Yeah, well, for qualifying for assistance, I'm only looking at that if they need the money, whereas they don't need the money going through the universities, right? Because I did. I mean, geez, I didn't go to the university, but I've had a life experience.
Yeah, I'm Aboriginal and Wiradjuri. My grandfather was born at Brungle Mission. I grew up my whole life being Aboriginal, and my colour is not anything about my Aboriginality. My colour is something that was imposed through colonisation, and I am Aboriginal. And the sort of mention of the fact that, you know, Indigenous students going to university somehow don't need assistance is not right, because what we're doing is the same thing that was done to us. We're judging each other by colour. It's not right.
No. We're the ones who get coloured and pointed at.
What I'm saying is that we shouldn't be judging each other by colour. We judge each other by our Aboriginality, our ancestry,
But
our
you know what?
relationship
We
to each other.
as visually black people are discriminated against because we're black.
But we're
I
also
mean,
discriminated
I've had
against
to
because we're
forego
not black.
that many jobs because of my skin.
Yeah, but
Not
I get it
because I'm
too.
Aboriginal, but I'm black.
Yeah, but
I'm
I get it
offensive
too.
to look at.
But I
I
also
get it
got
too.
denied a job because I didn't look black. So I understand that there is
Yeah, but you
discrimination for
don't
those
get
that
what
look black.
but you don't understand what he said.
Oh, I completely. I don't get it.
I have drove down the street at Redfern in a car as well, going to work and being pulled up and my car searched. Now, have you ever had that done?
No, and I can completely agree
Why
that
haven't
because
you
I
had
don't look
that
dark.
done?
But I also get like what people consider.
You know what? And I'm gonna say the woman that's yelling at her, she's on the fence for me too. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all right here and now. I'm gonna tell you right here and now. The day that two people who are not black are arguing over what black is the day that we need to really start to reconsider our positionality in this world. Because I'm mad that a mixed lady is yelling at an even more mixed lady about discrimination. I'm looking at both of you guys, and y'all don't look black to me. Okay, they don't. Neither one of them. Neither one of them. Maybe she tans in the winter. I mean, in summer. I just don't know. Like maybe there's something about her I'm missing. But I'm mad. Where are y'all? Tell me, where are the black people? Have you guys counted them yet? The 3 or 4 that are in the audience? The mixed people that have a little bit of chocolate to them? I am so like when I tell you guys this triggered me on levels that you guys don't even comprehend. I am so triggered by this whole thing, but it gets worse. If you can imagine this getting worse, it gets worse as we go. This is like downhill. We're going to go actually further down this rabbit hole than 2 mixed women arguing about who is blacker, with no black people present having this part of this conversation. We're going to get further down the rabbit hole. And then we're going to have a black woman talking who basically has no allegiance to her own blackness. This mess is crazy. It just really is. And honestly, I feel we can learn a lot from this situation because we have these same dynamics here in the United States. The thing is, we don't have any reparations or black-centered things to be chopped up, but we definitely see the Kamala Harrises of the world and the Cory Bookers of the world, you know, because Cory Booker is basically a white man. Okay, he comes from a line of mixed people claiming to be black. Kamala Harris may be 25% black at best, claiming to be black, all up in an SBCU like she's actually black. Or HBCU, like she's actually black. No, you're not. You're not. But we're calling her black, right? Because everybody's black these days. Like there's just no we have 0 standards for this life. 0 standards. None.
It's racism, but it's still racism. Just because I don't look black doesn't mean I'm not Aboriginal. It doesn't mean that I've grown up that way, and it doesn't mean that
This broad said, just because I don't look black doesn't mean I'm Aboriginal. I'm not Aboriginal. Yes, it does. That's exactly what it means. This is like legit what it means. And I'm not talking, you know, because, you know, there's always a stupid person. I'm not talking like, you know, I have a pigment disorder. I'm clearly black, but my pigment is thrown off. She's a full-on white woman. Just because you don't look black is exactly why you're not Arab. That's exactly what it means. It means you're white. You look white. You are white. If race is a social construct, it is based on our physical appearance. And by all physicality, she is a white woman. And this lady is a white woman. What is she? She looks like she could be Italian. What kind of white could she be? One of those exotic whites, like Turkish? Let me go back to some of that stuff. Because her nose is a little bit bigger, are we going to call her black too? She has a big nose and a few curls, and so she's black too? Because you know that's how we think, you guys. Let's not even play around. Do not lie. We do not look at people and go, oh, their nose is big. They might be mixed. They might be black. Oh, she's got curly hair. She might be, you know, she might have a little black in her. That's exactly how we think. And that thinking is going to lead us to this situation where you have two people who aren't black arguing over which one of them is black. Neither of you people is black. Neither one of you. You're not black. She's not black. 90% of this audience is not black. Okay. None of these people are black. It's a whole conversation about black people void of black people. That's going to be us pretty soon. We're talking about you can't breed out blackness if the father is black. No, fool, these people aren't black. You need two black parents for a black child. That's what we do need, not two mixed parents. It's not a mixed parent and a white parent. About the only variation of this that's going to produce a black person is going to be a mixed person and a black person. Anything else, you're not getting a black person out of that. If a black person has sex with a white person, you're not getting a black person. If a mixed person has sex with a mixed person, y'all didn't produce a black person. If a mixed person has sex with a white person, you didn't get a black person. These are not variations of blackness. It's not how this thing works. And our embracement of all things mixed is going to backfire in our faces.
I am. Just because I don't have skin color makes me no different to any of you that have color. My family is my family. My community is my community. We all know that. But just because I'm white doesn't mean...
Let's get a comment from Best Price.
I've just got one question. Why don't you acknowledge the other heritage that you have and be proud of it?
I do.
And just not go one way.
I completely agree.
I can stand up and say I'm a black fella and I've got one blood and that's it. But my daughter, whose father is sitting next to me, she acknowledges the father and the other heritage.
Okay, this is the woman that I should be able to relate to that I can't. So here you have a black woman. She's like, I've got one blood. She's saying, I'm just black. That's what she's saying. You know, they talk a little different because they're from Australia. She's like, I've got one blood. But my daughter, this is her father. She points at the clearly white man. She has two bloods. Okay, she's got more than one thing. See, as a black woman who has mixed children, I'm not about to cape and say that mixed people are black. I'm not going to do it. They're half black. And this woman is going to go on to say that she has grandchildren who are mixed with white. And they have a grandmother that looks like her, but those kids are not black. And honestly, more than anybody, the people who are mixed and the people who have created mixed children have to be the first people to speak up and say that these people are not black. We have to be the first ones, because what we're seeing right here is chaos. You know, like the history of the mixed race person in the world is very fascinating. And what we're seeing here is what always goes wrong and why so many people are triggered by mixed people. Everything we're seeing here is exactly why people have very strong feelings about admixing, because of exactly what we see in front of us. And those of us who have participated in creating these individuals have to be honest about the dynamics, if nothing else, so you don't raise mixed kids who contribute to this problem. Because the idea that nobody's going to admix is a stupid idea. People are going to admix, whether we like it or not, whether you feel it's right or not. Nobody's going to stop completely because you feel some kind of way. So the only thing that can be done is for people to not be stupid and to be real and still have a standard of blackness. It's for mixed people to go, I'm half black, not black, because you're not black. I'm half black. And you can love your blackness. You can choose to be on code, but you're not black. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what you are. If you have 25% black in you, 50% black in you, you're not actually black. You might be half, you might be a quarter, you might be less. But that's not black. That's something slightly different than black. And you know what? And that's okay. Just don't try to claim our stuff. You stay in your lane. You can be loyal to the cause in your lane. You don't have to call yourself black to be down, but you do have to be real to be down. Otherwise, we end up in these situations where look at all these people. She is the only black woman in this whole frame. Look at her. She is black and everybody around her is mixed. And they're all looking at her. They're all sitting there claiming black, and that she's the only black person in the whole frame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 mixed people, 1 white guy and 1 black woman, y'all. That is insane.
That she has. She doesn't just say that she's a black fella.
Oh, my,
And that has to happen here in Australia, so we can all then, be honest and equal with each other and understanding, because it creates that division. It creates that division. Look, I didn't know you were a black fella as well, because I'm sitting here and you totally look like a white fella to me.
I'm mad that she goes, I didn't know you were a black feller as well. Woman, he's not black. Why is she entertaining them? See, I couldn't have been a part of this meeting. I would have been like, you are white. And your whiteness is showing through because you want to erase what actual blackness is to uplift your white self. You want to replace me as a black woman because somebody sprinkled in your pool a little while ago. There's nothing more white than that. These mixed people don't know how white they are showing themselves to be, actually, okay? The fact that you want to replace the actual black people is your whiteness talking. And honestly, that's a whole nother conversation. How to clock white behavior in mixed children and correct them and make them aware of it in love. Like, white people have some tendencies. You might see that arise in a mixed child. How do you correct that from a loving place? Because these mixed people have never been corrected, because they're acting like full-on white people. They look white and they act white, and yet they don't even realize it because nobody has corrected them. Nobody has been like, you realize you're just like the colonizer. You don't just look like the colonizer, you act like the colonizer. You are participating in the same erasure as the colonizer by calling yourself black. You are just like them. You are doing their work. This is exactly what they wanted. And here you are, a product of that, and you are doing the work for them. Too stupid to realize it, too white in the mind to realize it, too not black to realize it. But there's no correction going on here. Where are these black grandparents and black parents to correct this mess? Nowhere to be found. Just popped them out and let them go live life acting white. I mean, that's what they've done. They're claiming black. They don't even know how to act or think or be loyal to blackness. Sometimes being loyal to blackness means you've got to put your personal feelings aside for the greater good of the group. That's loyalty to blackness. You might feel black in your spirit, but if you have blonde hair and blue eyes, you might need to just to step down and recognize that you're not black for the sake of blackness. But there's no correction here. No correction whatsoever. And watch the one black person that tries to correct them get torn to shreds, because these mixed people aren't about to stand for being corrected. They're about to start calling people colorists and things. They're about to start calling people colorist.
Excuse me, but sorry, but we have to acknowledge that and just say that, for the sake of all these other people. Now, hang on, let me finish. Let me finish, because out there, my people are on the ground, got nothing else.
All of this is sounding an awful lot like the Darwinian stuff that came in when colonisation happened, where colour could be bred out with every single generation.
Can we have one person at a time, please, Graham?
Yeah, look, I think the conversation's getting out of control here a bit, and you've got to ask yourself why Aboriginal people have to conform and comply to a definition their being.
Ooh, did you guys hear what he said? How many times have you guys heard this in our community? He said, now let me repeat what he said. He said, why do Aboriginal people have to conform and comply to a definition of their being? Tell me, y'all, hold on, wait a second. Hold on, let me calm down. Tell me that is not the same argument we use over here in America. Why do Black people all have to look one kind of way? You know, Black people come in all colors. Black people have all eye colors. Black people have all skin colors. Black people come in all hair types. How many times have we heard that? And look at him turning those words against us. We need to be careful what we say out here. We need to be careful what we say out here. Y'all, I have wavy hair. Okay, you guys have seen my hair. My hair looks straight half the time. My hair does not have a lot of curl to it. It has a lot of texture, but not a lot of curl. It's wavy, but I'm not stupid. I know that's not Black, quote unquote, hair. That is not the standard. Do Black people have hair like mine? Clearly, because I see it growing out of my head and I'm Black. But that's not the standard. The standard is 4C, 4B woolly hair. That is the standard. That is the standard. Does our hair come in other variations? Yes. Do I feel a little triggered when people accuse me of chemically treating my hair? Yes. But am I going to sit here and pretend like there's not a standard for what Black hair looks like? No. I don't care that my hair is wavy. I know damn well that's not the standard for Black hair. I know damn well that's not the standard for Black hair. And it doesn't matter that wavy hair is growing out of my Black head. The exceptions do not prove the rule. I'm sorry, the exceptions do not make the rule. The exceptions prove the rule. The fact that people look at my hair and think it's something weird about it proves that there's something weird about my hair. It's natural and it's naturally growing out of my Black head, but it's not the norm for Black people. So we can come in every color, nose shape. I know why people, I'm just saying, I'm gonna pick on myself because don't let me talk about anybody else because people get triggered. They don't want you to talk about them. So I'll use myself as an example. I have a teeny tiny nose on my face. Somebody came in my comment section and said, my nose looks funny. Did I have surgery? I didn't have surgery. This is my nose. This is the nose I was born with. Do other people have little noses? Yes, they do. They do. And I get mistaken for those people all the time. Somali, Ethiopian, I get mistaken for those people all the time. Is that phenotype typical? Is that the dominant phenotype for Black people's noses? No, it's not. It's not. Can we have noses like mine? Obviously so. We know that it happens. Is that the norm? No, it's not. It's not the overwhelming majority. And here we are looking at this man who looks white, sitting here saying, why do Aboriginal people have to conform to one ideology? There's a reason why. That doesn't mean there can't be variations. We know there are variations. We know that there are Black people out there with blonde hair. We're looking at an Aboriginal woman with naturally blonde hair on this program. But is blonde hair the norm for Black people? Does a little smattering of blonde Black people suddenly mean that blonde hair is natural for Black people? It is possible for Black people. It is not the norm. I think it is okay to have a standard. I'm not going to get offended if somebody tells me my hair type. I'm going to tell you, Tommy Sotomayor and I did a live together and I was promoting natural hair and a Black woman came on and she was like, you have whatever kind of hair texture she thought I had. I think she said 3C or something like that hair. She's like, so it's easy for you to say go natural. You don't have 4C hair. I didn't sit there and argue that woman down. Well, my hair is natural. We're da da da. I said, you know what? You're right. Period. She was right. She has a good point. Good point. Can Black people be born with light colored eyes? My father has hazel eyes. I have a father, he's my color. His eyes are hazel, light brown, whatever you want to call them. He's got freckles. But are Black people just walking around in this life with light eyes as the norm? No, dark eyes are dominant. Dark brown eyes are the dominant color of Black people. Can we be born with other eye colors? Yes, but it's not the norm. And so, you know, I'm going on a rant now, but my whole point is that we are listening to this man use an argument that we are making here in the United States all the time, which is that Black doesn't look like anything. Black can be everything. And while, yes, Black can be everything, that's not the norm. Black is not normally everything. Okay, that's not norm. It's not normal. Normally, we all don't walk into a room and all look hella different, okay? That's not how this works. Brown to dark skin, I would say brown skin is the normal. To dark skin, 4C, 4B hair, and more prominent features are the norm for Blackness. We can present other ways, but those other ways are not the overwhelming majority. But whatever, let's listen to him talk. Because while we're over here making that argument that Black can look like anything, he's about to use this Black can look like anything argument to justify a blonde hair, blue-eyed Black person. So let's watch it happen.
It's something, hang on. Look, it's something that has been imposed on Aboriginal people right from the time of European occupation. And Mark hit it on the head before. People in powerful positions, such as shock jocks and people in media, they tend to have a field day trying to divide and rule Aboriginal people. That is, on the one hand, people that are what they regard as the real Aboriginal people, and people on the other side of the coin that are, you know, not dark, not noticeably Aboriginal. This is what we've got to stop. We cannot afford.
He said that we have to stop making people who are not dark and not obviously Aboriginal the only ones that count. This fool actually said that, and this room full of mixed people is in agreement with him. Hold on, let me show you something. Let me show you. Hold on, let me call I'm gonna call my youngest daughter in here. Hold on a second. Hey, Bella Dolly, come here, sweetie. Let me just demonstrate something to you guys, really. You guys know I like to use my own family as an example. Come here, baby doll. Shut my door. Come here. All right, I just want to ask you a question. First of all, are you Black?
No.
What are you?
Mixed.
You're mixed? What does that mean, to be mixed?
It means you're half Black, half white.
Okay, so out of curiosity, what does a Black person look like to you? What do you think of when you think of that?
Dark skin and really, really curly hair.
Dark skin and really, really curly hair? Okay. All right, that's what I wanted to know from you. Send Lizzie baby in here. Thank you, sweetie pie. I don't want you, baby. All right, come here. Let me ask you a question. What are you chewing on?
A gummy.
A gummy? Okay. So out of curiosity, are you chewing on one of your rose gummies?
Mm-hmm.
I will have another if you have any more.
Okay.
So my question for you is, what do you consider yourself? Are you Black?
No, I'm mixed.
Wait, can you speak louder?
No, I'm mixed.
You're mixed? What does being mixed mean to you?
It means that you're half Black, half white.
Okay, and what do you think a Black person looks like?
A various shade, well, some shade of brown skin.
Some shade of brown skin. Is there anything else that stands out about Black people?
They normally have brown eyes and they normally have curly hair.
So they normally have brown eyes and curly hair?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Bye, my love. Oh, wait, can I ask you one more question? What is the one thing we never, ever do when we're in a group of Black people and there are white people present? What do we not do?
We don't turn down or fight with the Black people.
Can you say that really a lot
We
louder?
don't turn down or fight with the Black people.
So Black people don't fight with each other in public.
Mhm.
We keep that in private, right?
Uh-huh.
Does that apply to you too as a mixed person?
Yes.
That applies to you as a mixed person?
Mhm.
So you don't turn against Black people and their positionality in public?
No.
You would handle that where?
In private.
In private, in our own space. Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to know, baby.
I'll look at that.
Okay, thank you. See, that's what the hell I'm talking about, okay? Clearly, these mixed people had the wrong kind of parents, okay? Because my children are confused. So here you have a mixed man talking about they've got to stop Black people from saying brown skin and obviously Black features are Black. Well, it'll be a cold day in hell before that happens in my house. And I have people dragging me left and right all over YouTube. I've been drugged on panels because I don't teach my children that they're Black. And exactly what is going on in this discussion is why I do not teach my children. I just want one. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
So this is exactly why I don't teach my children that they're Black, because I have watched how mixed children have been weaponized. And so, like I said, I'm not going to get rid of my children because some people don't like that my children are mixed. Clearly, I love my kids. I'm going to keep them. I'm just going to raise them to the best of my ability to not be a flippant problem, to not be one of these mixed people. Obviously, people have mixed people in their family already. Some people may be mixed. They may need to raise children. So we have to think about, as a community, how in a loving way we can correct things that have already happened to ensure that these sorts of problems are not perpetuated in our community. But we also need to feel comfortable as Black people having a standard of Blackness. And you don't have to feel weird because you're mixed. You don't have to feel weird if your kids are mixed. You don't have to feel weird as a Black person to tell somebody who is not Black, you are not Black. It doesn't mean I don't like you, but you are not Black. You can be proud of your heritage. You can be, happy that you have a little sprinkle of Black in you. Like, that's good. I'm glad you're not ashamed of your Blackness. But what you won't do is call yourself Black. That's what we're not going to accept. You will not be accepted by the community as Black. That doesn't mean that we reject you as a person. It just means you don't get to call yourself Black. It's not what you get to do. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play it. Like I said, we're going to finish this and then I'm going to open up the meeting to anybody who wants to come up. So let's get through and let's listen to these mixed people. Let's listen to him tell us how Black skin and obviously Black features need to not any longer be the standard of what Black is. Let's listen to him talk about that.
Get sucked in to this fighting amongst ourselves.
Simple solution. Let anyone identify any way they want. What I do question is how benefits are handed out. So
Exactly.
you can say, I know in my heart I'm Aboriginal, etc., etc. But when it comes to handing out benefits and services, it should be done by need. Now, also,
benefits are too
let me finish, please. Let me finish, please. I get a lot of emails. People ask me this question all the time. Why is it that some people who claim Aboriginality, they focus on 1/16th of their ancestry and they forget the other 15/16ths of their ancestry? I am a part Aboriginal person. I'm part European, part Aboriginal. I'm very proud of both ancestries. I have an Aboriginal father, an Aboriginal mother. My life does not begin and end with my Aboriginality.
Let's get a comment from Greg. You've actually been attacked, you say, because of your identity. What do you think about how your experience in terms of what you look like has affected your response from other people?
No, but I'll say something else. And the reason I won't answer your question is because this isn't a safe space. I'm not going to disrespect my parents who passed away, my grandparents who passed away, by mentioning their names or having their...
Oh, I just want to say that guy says he's Black too, and he's not in a safe space. He doesn't feel safe to talk about his Blackness, but he's white, so he shouldn't feel safe.
...put up when it's not.
Him. He's Black too. he doesn't feel he's in a safe space because a Black person might point out the fact that, fool, you're white. You should not feel safe calling yourself Black. He should feel uncomfortable. You should feel uncomfortable because it's clearly not true. Any mirror will tell you that you're not Black.
A safe, respectful cultural environment here. And the reason I say that, and there has been things out there that people start thinking about reason, and the issue is, I think we've seen a big example of it tonight, the issue is lateral violence. We have learned some very, very bad habits from the coloniser. The weapons of the oppressor become the weapons of the oppressed, and we rip each other to shreds. Money's part of it. One of the elders in Launceston, who's passed away now, has said to me, the first job I got out of uni as an Aboriginal liaison officer, and she said to me, when I was talking to her one day, she said, Greg, the money changed everything.
Okay, it seems to be this idea of skin colour and what you look like seems to be pretty divisive.
And it's set up, that's the way it is. I mean, who gets to determine who is Aboriginal? And I think once you actually start to speak to...
Okay, quick question in the chat. Let's answer his question. He asked, who gets to determine who is Aboriginal? I say Black people. I say your mirror, okay? I'm gonna need you to be Black-skinned with 2 Black-skinned parents. At the very least, a mixed and a Black-skinned parent. I'm gonna need some genetic testing around here. I'm gonna want to see an admixture of above 50% going on at the very minimum. I'm gonna need some things to go on. But I know who's not gonna be the determiner of who's Black: white people, or a white person claiming to be Black. Like, why are these flipping white people so triggered that nobody will call them Black? And they are literally sitting up here, woe is meing it. Woe is me. People are discriminating against me because I am clearly a white dude and nobody wants to call me Black. Like, this is a joke. When I say I am so triggered by this, y'all, you guys, I am so triggered. Like, I'm so angry at this. I'm so upset by this. This bothers me to my very core. And it just really, really strengthens my resolve that this acceptance of just, you know, mulattoes and quadroons and octoroons as Black people is problematic.
To people, whatever the way, or however they look, it's how they've lived their life. I mean, I have seen my family be spat at. When I grew up, I was the albino born. Like, there is absolutely a lived experience that comes with Aboriginality, and that is not...
He gets on my nerves. I told you didn't I tell you guys earlier, he had a Black struggle story? His struggle of being Black. In his community, his family was the Aboriginal family. I'm gonna need some proof. I mean, this man better pull out a heavily Black person. Oh, but wait, he's about to tell us what his admixture is to prove that his story is full of crap. He knows darn well nobody was spitting at his family because they thought they were Black. Nobody thought that. He is full of it. This man is a liar, an absolute and total liar. But let him just keep on lying, because let's just pretend, let's just fake and pretend that we honestly believe that anybody looked at his family and spat on them because they were Aboriginal.
Educated on skin colour, and yet we're all out here saying, oh, but you, looking whiter than me, have had a more privileged existence than me. And I rally against that understanding, because we are Aboriginal by definition because of the white. It's also because of the way other people treat us and our families. So a very convenient definition for some too. For who?
Can we just hear from Dave Price?
I am white. I look white. I am white. I'm quite proud of it. I'm married to a Wallaby woman, and we've kept the marriage together for over 30 years, which is better than most white fellas and black fellas do these days. And I have 3 grandsons. 2 of the grandsons are very fair-haired, blue-eyed. The middle one is brown-skinned, brown-eyed. They have 4 grandparents. One of them is Aboriginal. My youngest grandson, the fairest one of the lot, came home from school one day and very upset because he said, those white kids told me, Jaja, that I'm too white to be a blackfella. My Wallaby wife got very upset on his behalf and wanted to go down to school and sort him out blackfella way. I talked her out of that.
I was going to just go and show them my face. That's all, Anton.
I said to him, look at me, I'm your grandfather, I love you, you have my blood too. I want you to be just as proud of me. I also want you to be proud of your other white grandfather and your other black grandmother who was not Aboriginal. You are not just Aboriginal, but be really proud of that inheritance.
Proud of all the
Now,
heritages.
a very clear majority of Australians who call themselves Indigenous have children with people who aren't. 80% of their kids identify fully as Indigenous. What about the rest of us? They're our families too. You're either Aboriginal.
I'm mad only the white man wants these mixed people to claim something other than black. Why is it just the one white dude in the audience is the only person like, do you have to claim like just being Indigenous? Do you want to claim the white part of you too? You know that it's a twisted day when a white person, a white man at that, is the only one talking about, can y'all claim white? Like, what? What kind of topsy-turvy land, upside down world are they living in, y'all? When white people are telling you to claim white. Like, I can't. You know it's bad when a white person tells you to claim white with the knowledge that you have black blood. That's when you're really white, okay? That's when you're actually white in real life, okay? When white people are even like, yeah, no, you're white. You need to claim this whiteness, okay?
I'm Aboriginal. Indigenous is the government word. But the issue is Aboriginal identity. Now, the problem I have with it, and I'm not saying you're not black, but there are non-Aboriginal people claiming to be.
And this is what I'm talking about again. Now she's backing down. Before she was all yelling at her, talking about you're not black. Now she's like, I'm not saying that you're not black. Look, I'm saying she's not black. That woman is white. They're all going to start butt licking. Let's go through the butt licking session.
Aboriginal, taking our jobs, making our jobs hard for us, live in my shoes and work where I work, and you'll notice what the difference is between being white Aboriginal and black Aboriginal, I can tell you. You know, well, it's about who you are. Now, my mum's Gamilaroi, my dad's Wanneroo, which is Coonabarabran, the Hunter Valley. That's my ancestry, and I can go back a long way on that.
Can I get some comments from people who haven't had a chance yet?
It's a hard topic, and if we can't get it right here, nowhere else can. So if we stop fighting amongst ourselves, looking, oh, well, you're not black enough, or you're too white, or something like that, our generations.
She said, I can't stand these mixed people. If we don't stop fighting around amongst ourselves saying, you're too white or you're not black enough, nah, that needs to be the argument, because discrimination is happening against black people based on the color of their skin. So skin color does matter. And it's not us that made it matter. That doesn't mean that you cannot be proud and happy to be part black. It just means you can't call yourself black. And I don't know why they're having a hard time comprehending that.
The kids who fall between the gaps of every services, whether they can get an Aboriginal confirmation or not, will fall by the wayside for another 6-7 generations. We have to get it right tonight. We can't keep fighting amongst ourselves anymore. The Aboriginality is a cultural construct. We make it. We define it. I think the thing that we're most frustrated about is the fact that people can claim Aboriginality and not do anything with their power if they get a job. I think every Aboriginal person who goes for these jobs feels they have an obligation to do good for their people. I think that's the thing that we have to concentrate on, is that not the fact that your skin colour or where it doesn't matter where you come from. I'm very lucky to say that I grew up on country. But I think the thing is we need to see the issue as people who are claiming 1/16 or whatever.
Look, I just want to point out while she's talking about something I totally disagree with, she's not black either. It's just a bunch of people who aren't black talking about what black is. This is where the conversation has digressed. And what's interesting is when they had to put this forward on Australian television, they chose this audience of basically biracial, triracial, quadracial people. You know, they chose this, you know, mulatto, octoroon, quadroon group of people to represent Aboriginal Australians. And I've only seen one Aboriginal, just one. There's one Black person there. The whole group is mixed. There is one Black person, and she doesn't even have the strength of purpose to tell these people they are not Black. The one person that could do it, she would be like, look at me, I am Black. Look at you, you are not Black. Therein lies the difference. Like, end of discussion, okay? One of these things is different than the others. Can you point out which one of us is actually Black and which one of us, you know, all the rest of us are not Black? I don't even know, like, with the truth staring them in their face, all these mixed people talking about Blackness, I cannot with the conversation. It's so annoying.
I love it. I'm proud of it. And this is what we've got to start talking about. Rather than having these silly arguments about, oh, you're blacker than me, you're whiter than me. Well, you can't speak language. Well, you can't speak language because the white men beat you up 100 years ago and forced you not to speak language. You don't do dance anymore because white men come and beat you up and force you not to dance anymore. So it's about time we started recognizing all these different experiences of our community and start pulling together as people rather than saying, oh, we don't like you, or having stupid things like the Aboriginality form where you go to a meeting and you've got to sit in front of 10 or 5 or 6 people who actually judge your Aboriginality. It's just bizarre to me.
One thing we have noticed in the recent census in 2011 was a 20% rise in people who identify as Aboriginal. Anthony Dillon, what do you make of that?
Well, the definition being the way it is, it's quite elastic. You know, you can find out that your great-great-grandmother was Aboriginal, and therefore, under that definition, you can identify. And I guess it's that person's right to identify. So I think it's a large increase.
Do you have any concerns about that rise?
Yeah, one of the problems, and we've discussed this in this forum here, is, you know, it comes back to need again, and I think because there's such a diverse range in terms of need within that group who identify as being Indigenous, you'll have those who are very poor, poor socioeconomic status, those who are quite well off, and you get this averaging effect. So you have pockets of extreme disadvantage that can be masked. I think that's a problem when you lump everyone into that category of Aboriginal. So, you know, people from Bess's area, when she can describe the horror stories she sees, then you have people in the city like me, all ticking that box Aboriginal, and you lose the depth.
Let's just get a quick.
I know I've been to a place.
We haven't heard from Matilda. Matilda, you've come to us all the way from Broome. Why do you think more people are identifying as Aboriginal?
So somebody asked, let's assume all the original Black Aboriginals become extinct. Wait, whoa, hold on. It went away. Hold on. Let me find it. Let me see. Let's assume all of the Black Aboriginals become extinct and all we have are their mixed descendants left. Should they be entitled to reparations still? And I would say no, because on a continent like Australia, they would likely be bred out within 2 generations, right? Because they're probably going to marry out. That seems to be the thing. So I would say no, they shouldn't qualify for reparations. It's hard because some of them are darker, right? Some of them are darker. But I mean, if we're at best, I would say the mulattoes could get reparations, like the mulattoes that are left. But without any Black people present, the next generation would no longer be mulatto. They would be quadroon. So I guess that's what I would say to that.
Yeah, upset and annoyed because the way people are sort of talking to Bess, I mean, I live up north with like one of our Bronxes in Broome. I've been up in the Kimberley.
Oh, wait, y'all. I want you to listen to really carefully what this mixed woman says. and I'm gonna give my opinion. The one that's talking right now, listen really carefully to what she says, because she's on some BS.
For 30 years. And this is the closest we've got to a full-blood Aboriginal here in all of us. So we need to respect, as much as we respect each other, that she has got her language, she has got her culture, she has got her skin group, she has got her bush name. And everybody is born in different places, okay? I cannot believe, like Dallas has had to get forms to say he's Aboriginal, but I can look at him, I can say, how you going, my son? How you going? I mean, everybody, you can talk to them and you have that feeling. It's an Aboriginal feeling that's hard to describe inside you.
Okay, so she said that there's a feeling where we recognize each other. I will stand by that, but she's about to go into some stupid stuff really quick. Black people know each other, right? Black people know each other. We also know when a person is mixed. Even if they look Black, we know they're mixed. If they don't look Black, we can tell a mixed person. We have the ability to recognize Blackness when we see it, right? Now she's about to go off into left field on some stupid stuff. Let's just listen to it though.
For people, like outside, we found some people straight away. We walked up and I found my mate there, and never sort of, maybe met him years ago, but I can't remember, at a taxi. And all of a sudden we had that connection. Hey, we're going to the same place. Let's jump in the same taxi. So being Aboriginal is respecting that.
Now she said that she saw that white man. Okay. She said she saw that white man and knew that that was her mate. She knew that he was Aboriginal. I would argue that her whiteness recognized his whiteness, because nothing Black in her saw anything Black in that man. When I saw that man, I saw nothing Black in him. Okay. The only thing in her that felt kindred relations to that white man was her whiteness. That was her whiteness speaking to his whiteness. Okay. At the very, very most.
We all have something in common, and we need to share our journey from our grandparents, our friends, our family.
Let's get a quick comment from some of our younger people in the audience here, Todd and Medina. How important is that link to land, to your traditional conventions and practices?
Well, I think we have to remember that there was a time, if you identified to be Aboriginal, you would have been bashed, you would have been discriminated.
He looks Mexican or East Indian to me. Just saying.
She would have been taunted. And there was a time when they suppressed their Aboriginality because that was the time that they grew up in. And that was the only thing that they knew how to do to protect themselves and protect their families and protect their kids. But now as Aboriginality in today's society is being seen as something to be proud of, especially with Aboriginal people being proud to be Aboriginal, a lot of families now are coming out saying that, I'm Black because, I'm proud to be Aboriginal. And now that in a time where Aboriginal people can be proud to be Aboriginal, they won't identify. We have people, Aboriginal people, who use lateral violence to do exactly what the white fellas done to us when they came over.
Dallas, let me just get a comment from you. You're listening to this.
Yeah. Well, I've heard.
Before white people came here.
Sorry, Arnie. I've heard all the speaking that's been going on, and as I said, I grew up as a Black man. Now, I had foster white parents. I grew up in a white area. Now, like as you said, when you were growing up, you had those problems, which is, yeah, I know, I do understand. But then you can walk out there tonight and get a cab, whereas I can't. All right. Now, I'm not denying your Aboriginality or your heritage. All I'm saying is, everyone says, right, we've got to close the gap.
Why are they so afraid to tell these white people they are not Black? Why are they so afraid to be like, you are not Black. You are not Black. You are not Black. They will not do it. Everybody, I won't say you're not Black. I won't say you're not Black. No, we need to start telling people they're not Black. Okay. Say it loving. You can say it with love. You're not Black. You may have a Black great grandparent somewhere, but you're not Black. Your great grandparent was Black.
Young kids, why don't we arguing about
what's happening with these poor kids? Your identity is a spirit, a set of values, a force which informs your decisions, which is a product of story and of journey. That is something the government can never give you.
Well, tonight we're talking about Aboriginality and identity. Well, the corporations and the land councils are two of the organisations you can go to get your Aboriginality confirmed. Warren Mundine, what do you think of the way that system works?
I think there's too much subjective put on people. We've heard the stories tonight. We heard Dallas, a community just said, "No, you're not Aboriginal." We heard other people say the same things. I think there's better ways of doing it. As I said, I worked for an organisation prior to this one I'm working for now, which is the NTS Corp, which deals with name titles, people's connection to their heritage, to their descent, and their identity as Aboriginal people. And through that process, we've built this tremendous database. What we found is that each stolen generation, Aboriginal people that weren't taken away, people who lived on countries, people who moved off countries, we've been able to track them. We can find out who they are, where their families are from. We've got that all on digital database.
Does the system work fairly, in your opinion?
I think that system worked quite fairly because it doesn't make the decision about do you identify as an Aboriginal person, you're proud, it just actually says by descent and your connection to that country. It's got no politics involved in it all. It's got no subjective behaviour involved in it all. It's just a clear, here's your descent and where you've come from.
We haven't heard from Des Williams yet. What do you think of this council system?
I chair the Tweed Byron Local Aboriginal Land Council, and we have a system in place that allows us to hand out confirmation of Aboriginality. When a submission comes in from a person, it's first looked at by the board of the Land Council, and if the people on the board of the Land Council can't agree with this person's right to be given an Aboriginality form, then it goes to the members, and the members decide. But the initial advice given to the applicant is that if you don't come from this area, if your people don't come from here, at Tweed Heads or Tweed Byron in this instance, then you have to go back to where your people come from, your family come from.
You shouldn't have to. I mean, I have got my proof from my great-grandfather, first taken from traditional way of living. I've got it from the University of New South Wales. It shows my tribe, my totem, my...
Did you hear this fool said his great-great-grandfather? His great-great-grandfather was black. So he must be mixed with something like East Indian or something that is not white. Like maybe he had some white and then there's a different admixture there. See, these melanated people, just because somebody has a little color to them doesn't mean they're black. His blackness goes back to his great-great-grandparent. That's hella far back. His blackness goes back farther than the white woman sitting on stage. At least she has a black grandparent. This fool doesn't even have that, and he has more color than her. That's why we cannot just look at these people and make a determination.
Tribal name, which is Uluru. So, and it's all documented through the university. Right? And clearly, when you look at me, I'm Aboriginal, I'm proud Aboriginal. I've got all this documented, so all I need to do is send them going back to Brewarrina, where I'm from. There should be some process in place where they can just ring up Brewarrina Land Council and...
Well, I think one of the points of the Land Council and the co-op system is that they confirm people's Aboriginality, which allows them to access financial help. And Dylan, is there a better way of moving forward then?
Yeah,
can we just listen to Anthony?
I think as has been said by a few people, if we focus on needs first.
He looks like he belongs on The Sopranos. It's just so many. I'm like overwhelmed, y'all. I'm overwhelmed with the number of mixed people present speaking on this issue. Like, where are the Black people at? There are no Black people present. Can we get a Black person? Can I get more than one Black person in this audience? Can I get somebody who is not an octoroon to stand up and be a part of this conversation?
Then I think there'd be less people wanting to claim their Aboriginality. If they want to, that's fine. They can claim it and they can get together and tell each other stories, that's fine. But let's focus on need.
You can't claim Aboriginality. You are Aboriginal or you're not Aboriginal. You don't have a choice. When I was born Aboriginal. When I die Aboriginal. Everything in between is Aboriginal. Yes, I have another part of me, but I don't claim anything.
Jobs and high positions you're in, not because you're Aboriginal, because your education and the criteria you fit. Being Aboriginal is only one part of that. If it's on that form.
But Auntie, part of the point too is when these identified people come up, whether we do it by need or whatever, it's the actual what you do with it. I think the young lady up the back said it, and it's that concept of cultural responsibility and how you put that back in. Just role modelling alone. So, you know, it's still vitally important that you have Indigenous identified positions at university, because that obviously then those people, every Aboriginal person that I have known that has gone to university works in Aboriginal affairs in a professional capacity in their communities. So it's assumption that as soon as you get educated, you lose your
He thinks that a bunch of white people working in Aboriginal affairs who pretend to be Aboriginal is a good thing. The only thing a fully on white person can do in Aboriginal affairs is infiltrate. That's infiltration. See, this is another reason why we cannot let these people be called Black, because they will infiltrate your spaces. Because we will let them call themselves Black and they're not Black. And then they will infiltrate our spaces as, you know, activists, as working for Black people. And in reality, they have a full-on white family. A full-on white family who they love. And I'm not saying if you have a white family, you should not love your white family. I'm just saying that you don't get to be Black. Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, you don't get to be Black. That's not a part of it. You get to be half Black. You get to love your Blackness. You don't get to be Black. That's what you don't get to be.
or you only engage
if you're
with
putting it back into the community,
Exactly.
yes, that's
But that's
accepted.
my
But
point.
not if
Most
you're just
young
there to,
Aboriginal
you know,
people
get
I know
higher and
are doing
higher and use
exactly
your
that.
Aboriginality and your people.
We haven't heard from the Black women.
Thank you. Look, I've listened to this discussion tonight, and I came here tonight as a stolen generation survivor from Tasmania.
Y'all, she's saying she's Black too. She is saying she is Black too. This is Pocahontas 2.0. This is an instant replay. I get fine. She's Black too. Y'all, everybody's Black. Let's just, it doesn't, I don't even know what I am anymore. I'm not Black. If she's Black, what am I? What are you? What is an Aborigine? She's saying she's a stolen generation. Look, I have a lot of sympathy for what went down in Australia, but that doesn't make her Black. Like, that's what we're not going to do, is we're not going to call her Black. She's about to call herself Black, though, so let's listen to her do it. Don't let anybody tell her different, you know, because our heartstrings have been pulled on because of stolen generation and what happened in Australia. And so now white people get to be Black. Like, this is the result of it.
And I've listened to all the issues around identity, and I really appreciate what you're saying about knowing each side of you, your mother's side, your father's side. Some of us don't know that. We don't have that appreciation. And we talk about access to services, and you've got to go back to your own country. Some stolen generations don't know where their country is. So what I say to these services is, are you putting things in place to address these needs of the stolen generations?
Right.
I'd just like to say that going back to what Warren was saying earlier, that I am a descendant of a member of the stolen generation. My great-grandmother was born in, was removed from her mother in Broome, Western Australia. So and from there, she became a missionary herself and travelled from Australia to the Torres Strait to Papua, which is where I was born, where my mother was born, where my grandmother was born. So for me, identifying as an Aboriginal person is not so much a need for me, it's a right that I have because my great-grandmother was from this country.
I'm also strong. I last year got my certificate of Aboriginality and honestly felt that by receiving that, I belong somewhere. And I think that most Stolen-Gen would probably feel like that. It's not about, I love the fact that I was in contact with my Aboriginality as a traditional, completely dark Aboriginal, knowing country, land and whatever, but I wasn't born that way. But to identify as Aboriginal, when I got my Aboriginality certificate, I actually was elated. It was like receiving my birth certificate. So that's really, you know, at the end of the day, it's what we're about, is identifying and knowing where you're from and people that were meant to be your families and reconnecting.
Medina, you haven't had a chance to speak.
To acknowledge that, you know, we're very passionate people, so we're just touching on surface issues. We've also come from a really disadvantaged past as Indigenous people, doing a lot of self-healing, but also talking about we need to really focus on solutions now, moving forward in healing in our journey for our younger generations.
Let's get a comment from Shane Houston.
There are three issues that have collided in this conversation. The first one is about identity. The second one is about heritage. And the third one is about needs. Let's go to the first one about identity. I've been working in for nearly 40 years. I've seen Aboriginal people of all sorts of colours who are incredibly proud of their identity. That is a construct of self, not of anybody else. It's yourself. Your identity is a spirit, a set of values, a force which informs your decisions, which is a product of story of a journey immersed in our identity. That is something that can never give you. No organization can give you that. Your family, your community, yourself can give you that identity. The second question is about heritage. Now, I've known people that have had conversations with me that said, Shane, I'm not Aboriginal, but I grew up in West Wyalong. And I think if I go back far enough, I'm sure I'd be able to find, why aren't I Aboriginal? And I'm saying, and my response to them was, that might be part of your heritage and you should be very proud of it, just as I'm very proud of my mother's English heritage. They can be very proud of their Aboriginal heritage, but it is not their identity. It is not that story and journey which informs their decisions. The third thing that's collided in this conversation is the question.
For the record, it's not his identity either, because he's not Black either, but let him keep talking.
Australia. But at least ours is consistent. It's survived for nearly 40 years, and it's a lot better than definitions that exist in other parts of the world. If you're Apache in the US, for example, one group you have to be half caste, another group you have to be quarter caste. The next.
So he's about to bash, or he's bashing what the Native Americans do, which for Native Americans, you know, some tribes you have to be 50% Native American. So in my family, I have people who have one Native American parent, so one full-blood Native American parent, and one Black parent. They would qualify as Native American for their tribe. In other Native American tribes, you have to be at least 25% Native American. But see, the Native Americans don't play that. You're going to need some actual bloodline, and they're going to put a percentage on what you need to be considered Native American. He is saying they do not want that to happen in Australia. For me, I'm looking somewhere between 50 and 60%. I'm gonna need you to be between 50 and 60% at minimum Black. If you're not above 50%, you don't get access to Black stuff. A lot of people would put the percentage higher. I would say 50 to 60%. That is the minimum for me. I'm gonna need some genetic testing, okay, for me. I don't want to look at you. I'm going to need genetic testing. And honestly, if you look white, you know, your admixture, it may not matter. I'm just be real. Like, I'm very, very biased and petty about this.
group of Apache, you have to be 1/8. So there is of blood, and they have a DNA test. So it is incredibly complex. So the question of services, which all the people have raised here, access to services is something that should be based on need. I earn a good wage. My kids shouldn't have to access those services on behalf of my kid. There are Aboriginal people at the university I work at who without scholarships would never get an opportunity. Absolutely the case. Let's not say just because we've got Aboriginal kids in Scots or Andrews or any of the big schools around Sydney that they don't have needs. They all come from single parent families out and they've made a decision to give their kids something better. It's not judging on the fact that they go to those schools. It's judging on what their needs are. We have to reconcile those issues.
Okay, whatever. Let's just stop this. Hold on, let me stop sharing. Okay, so I think we've seen enough. I think everybody kind of gets the point. So let's see if I can invite you guys. So how do you guys feel about, does anybody want to come up for the meeting? How is that feeling? Should I put the link in the, should I put the link in the box? How are you guys feeling about that? Maybe I should do this for like another thing. I want to just try it. So I'm going to put the link in the box. If anybody stupid comes up here, I'm going to just shut the live down like really quick and you will get blocked. But I'm going to try to throw it in there. I feel like the delay is really far, so I don't know. Okay, so that is the link. If anybody would like to come up to discuss it, let's try it. This will kind of be an experiment for me because you guys know that I don't personally, I've never done a Zoom before. So this would kind of be an experiment. It would kind of be an experiment for me. So I'm throwing the link in the description box. I think you just need to have Zoom. I don't even think you need to have it. Just take the link, put it in your web browser if you don't have Zoom and see what happens. Let's experiment together because I've never actually tried this before. So I'm going to try it now. And let's see how it goes. If this goes well, then I'll be able to do this more. Later on today, you guys, like while I'm waiting to see if people can sort out the Zoom thing, because I feel like this is kind of new for all of us. Later today, I'm going to be doing another live comparing the story of Horus and Jesus and Kemet religion and Christianity. So that should be another interesting one. And then you guys may not see me for like 4 days, 5 days. Because I have some like things I just need to do and I won't have time to do YouTube. So today I'll probably do like 2 or 3 lives and then I'm going to be like MIA for several days. Oh, it's like a 7 to 10 second delay. Yeah, I feel like that delay is so long. Like I'm talking to you guys. No, you can click the link. So no, it's not a call-in necessarily. You would just have to click the link. The thing is that I don't really know how to do Zoom. So I would have to practice with Zoom before I could probably successfully do a call-in because I don't know how it would work doing it for Zoom. I know it is experimenting, but somebody click the link, because even if you don't want to talk about the subject, I want to see if it works. Like, I don't even know that that link is going to work to add anybody. Oh, I have 3 participants. How do I have 3 participants? Where are you guys at? How come I don't see people? Oh, I have 2 attendees. Oh, I have Aaron allowed to talk. Oh, I can allow you guys to talk. Oh, dope. Okay, go ahead.
See, what happened is, what happened is you basically, when you put the link in the chat room, it will allow anybody, pretty much to come up and click on it. And if you have Zoom already on your phone or your pad or whatever you're on, it basically will take you right to you. Now, the nice thing with Zoom is you control pretty much anybody. You can mute us all and just say, okay, nobody's talking but me. Or you can have everybody basically speaking at the same time.
Oh, because I saw all of a sudden it was like 3 participants and I clicked it just because it was there, not because I actually knew what I was doing. And then I had to like allow each person to talk.
No, basically they should, at the point when I came on, you had me muted. So then it popped up just a second ago. It said, do you wish to unmute yourself? And I said, yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. It was like,
So
I think it automatically had you muted because I didn't even know you were there. And then I had to click that you were.
It automatically had.
Can you hear me?
Right, because what happens is you have control over. Yeah, see now Aaron just came in.
Oh yeah, we can hear you, Aaron.
See, I can hear Aaron.
Oh, hey, what's going on, Irene? What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on, Aaron? But see, what happens is, like, for instance, if you had somebody who came up there and you were like, okay, you don't know this person. And you're like, okay, I don't want to take a chance that somebody's gonna be, just acting stupid on my live. You don't have to let them on. And so they'll just sit in a like a kind of like holding pattern until you do.
Oh, okay. That's
so
fine.
If you say, well, I don't know who Joe and Aaron are. Okay, I'll just keep them I'll just leave those 2 there until I find out who they are. And because people sometimes have different names in the chat than they do in real life, So,
yeah, you got troll accounts.
That's what happens. Right, you got troll. Yeah, you can spend with troll accounts. Somebody might get slick and say, hey, my name is da 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 da, and you're like, well, I don't know, that's not your picture, and that doesn't look like you, and I don't think that's you, and I don't want to take any chances of getting hacked or anything stupid like that happening. You can block that.
Right. I'm curious how I can let. Oh, wait. Okay, it is switching. I was wondering if it was switching between our names when people are looking at it, but I guess it is.
Yeah, that's the one thing I think it has in common with Hangout.
It'll switch up between. You'll see like almost. I don't know if you ever watched. Well, yeah, you have because you had her on your you're on your live before. You interviewed her. What's her name? Vicky Dillard.
Yeah.
If you look at like some of them that are on Fly Nubian Queen or whatever, you'll see when there's like multiple people, it'll go like the box will light up a little bit around the edges, and you'll know that particular person is talking. So each person, if Aaron says something, it'll come to him. If it's me saying something, it'll be back to me. And if it's you saying something, it'll have you.
This is a new technology right here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. See, and that's the thing.
I hear that with Zoom, you can get up to 100 people on the panel. I wouldn't advise it, but that's what I heard.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you'd have a small county on screaming and hollering at each other. So that, but yeah, you can do up to 100 on it.
That's crazy. This is so cool. Okay, I see Little Miss Chocolate is here.
Okay, so Little Miss Chocolate if she says something, we should hear her.
Do y'all hear me?
Hey,
Miss Chocolate. Yeah, there's Little Miss Chocolate there.
Oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm so excited, y'all. I'm hella cheesy. I like this so much.
So the person that was down there concerned about it being like a phone call thing, and no, it's not that. So it's actually clearer than a phone call. What she could do if she wanted to come up, I think it was Cast something or other, if I remember carefully the name or whatever it was. If she doesn't have Zoom on her phone, she can just download it real quick. If not, it'll basically take her to like the Zoom, I guess, the online app or whatever they call it, and she can come in that way.
Oh yeah, so just try to put it in your browser then. Oh, this is so cool. I like this so
So
much.
So I think this is also browser based
So
too,
the-
just like StreamYard.
Yeah, same thing. Like it
But
looks
it
like
also have an
StreamYard.
app too.
Yeah,
You also have an app too.
pretty much.
I think Miss Dillard is
Right.
here
You can
too.
go to
What's
Stream.
up?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi, I'm sorry. Hi, everybody. I'm sorry. I was just zoning out.
Okay.
Little
Okay.
Miss
So that's Little Miss
here,
Chocolate. So we
but
got it.
there's
You had
somebody else
three
here
people in the.
too.
Okay. You see it's fourth person now
I see another person.
because it should be myself, Aaron.
It's Aaron,
It doesn't
Joe,
show the name.
Little Miss Chocolate, and PM Dillard.
PM.
I think it's Miss Dillard.
Okay. See now that one. You got that. Okay. So if you didn't know who she was or who that person is, then you could actually keep them in a holding pattern, basically, indefinitely. Because you're like, I don't know who you are, you know.
Dillard Pat, that's you, right?
So they should be able to speak now.
Hey, so
Okay.
y'all check this out. I'm going back and forth in the chat right now. Like, unlike from the chat perspective, from the chat view, all it is showing our names. It's not showing our avatars. But like inside of the chat, we can see our avatars. But if you go on the chat, it just shows our names.
Yeah, I don't know why
That's
though. I
correct.
don't know.
It would do that.
Different. This is so weird.
Let me
But
see.
I love the fact that I can just like put the link.
Okay.
I love that I can put the link in the
so I'm
chat and you guys can just put it up. Like that is so simple. That makes me so happy. That's hella off topic, but like I'm really pleased with that. I'm like really pleased. So what do y'all want to talk about? Do you guys okay, so you guys saw the topic. Do you want to talk about that or do you have something else to say?
I wanted to say something about the. I mean, I'm like, wow, I cannot believe these are actually grown ass people that are actually talking like. You mean to sit up there and tell me that, okay, phenotypically, and like you said, Irene, I'm sure there's a mirror somewhere on the planet Earth that you can look in and see your ass is not black. I mean, what sort of madness is that? I'm like, do they have a cure for this kind of sickness? I'm serious.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. Yeah, you can have a banana. I thought that was interesting too, because even the one lady was like, I know I don't look Aboriginal. And then she was like, but I don't choose this and da da da. I'm like, you are white. You were not born Aboriginal. You were born white. And I understand that she has one Black grandparent, and that's amazing. And I'm glad she, wants to relate to that and she doesn't want to deny that. But that's like a far cry from calling yourself Black. But I honestly feel like I don't blame her. I blame Black people because we do that in this country as well, where we will claim a biracial person or a quadroon. I mean, I don't know what the politically correct terms are for these people because I just know the terms I'm used to using. But we will claim mulattoes and quadroons and octoroons, et cetera, et cetera. We will claim them. And there are some et ceteras, but I don't want to teach anybody any new racial epithets.
So basically, see, well, you know what, Irene, they've always had that attitude. Is basically that because I said so kind of mentality anyway. That's always been a part of them. That's part of their behavior. They're expressing that because I said I am. I don't have to show you proof because I said I am. So basically, they could say that. Basically, you could say that you're a giraffe. I can see that you're not a giraffe, but because you said you're a giraffe, I'm supposed to just go along with you being a giraffe. You know what I'm saying?
I think it was interesting, the colorism argument. And this like even convicted me because I know for me, I kind of felt some kind of way when people were referring to me as brown skin. One, because I just feel like you're either Black or you're not Black, right? You're either dark skin or you're light skin or you're just not Black. So I didn't like the racial, the color hierarchy or whatever. But it was interesting to see that kind of flipped when you had a room full of mixed people who were like, basically, you're being colorist. You're saying we don't look Black enough, and therefore we're not Black. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't look Black enough. So it was interesting watching these people who obviously had contact with Black people turn our narratives against us. I just thought that that was pretty crazy.
I thought, when are we going to define our Blackness? When can we say, no, you're not Black? Without the pushback.
Or
because this is getting ridiculous. When it comes to money, all of a sudden everybody's Black. When it comes to benefits, everybody's Black. Then when it comes to the fight, who do we see? Us.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how the mixed people were able to give pushback and the Black people just kind of fell back. Like they didn't feel comfortable. Like over and over again, I kept hearing people say, you know, I'm not saying you're not Black, you know what I mean? Or da da da. And it's like, that's what we need to tell them. And that's why I brought my daughters in here, because I think a lot of people feel like if we tell people they're not Black, that's like a hateful thing. I love my little girls, but I don't teach them that there's something that they're not. You know, like I make that division clear, and I also make where their loyalty should lie clear. But I think a lot of times we feel like being honest is equivalent to being hateful. And we want these mixed people to identify with their Blackness because it can be beneficial for us. And we need to recognize that they can identify with their Blackness without being Black. Like you can identify with that part of you. That doesn't make you the same as me. And I think we have to feel comfortable saying that to them.
I agree.
We live in this society where everyone wants to be PC and not be afraid to offend people. I'm sick and tired of that. I mean, it's gotta end. So we gotta draw a line somewhere. I'm not gonna sit up there and call someone Black. And I mean, if it looks like a duck, it must be a duck. I mean, you heard that expression before. I mean, I'm not gonna sit up there and call a duck an eagle when I can see you right in front of my face. It's a damn duck.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm not a politically correct person at all. And I'm really comfortable with that. I feel like we are breeding a generation of people that expect to, you know, never have their feelings hurt and never have anything offensive said to them. And we have to be accepting of everything. And, you know, and I just don't feel like that's real life. That's not realistic. That's not the real world. That's not the world I want to live in. Everything may not be super comfortable, but that doesn't mean that, okay, so, Ms. Dillard, I'm not sure why you hear several voices at once. Why don't you come in and try to talk? Because I think we all hear only the person speaking, but you might also be listening to it on YouTube. So you might stop your YouTube, like pause the video, and then only listen to the Zoom. And I think then you might be able to only hear one voice at once. What is Abracadabra doing? Oh, okay. Well, I don't want to like go back and forth. Abracadabra was saying something. There's this whole group of people that feels like you can't use the word Black to describe each other. For me, I really could care less, because when I say Black, you like people know what I'm talking about. They know I'm talking about somebody with brown skin and woolly hair. So language is only for communication. So there's no confusion there. I don't have time to like give people a lesson in a new word or a new way of thinking in order to have a conversation with them. So I just use the word Black because when I say Black, people know what I'm talking about. They know what I mean. When I say that is a Black person, a visual image can enter somebody's mind consistent with what I want them to understand. But I definitely think being politically correct is problematic, or being politically incorrect and having that be a problem is problematic. I think I'm all for freedom of speech. I really don't care what anybody says because at the end of the day, I don't have to listen to you. But I don't have time to sugarcoat everything for everybody. I don't think that means be blatantly rude and nasty, but I think it definitely means not treating everybody like they're a 3-year-old. And I can't talk to you plainly because your feelings are gonna get hurt, or you're gonna crawl in a corner and cry, or anything like that. But with that said, I have another live coming up today. I have another live coming up today for you guys on, I think I already said this, Christianity versus Kemet religion, the story of Horus versus the story of Christ. So I'm gonna get some watermelon and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna try to do that live, but I'm really excited about this. I'm excited that we are able to, like, I'm able to put a link in the chat and you guys are just able to come up and talk to me. I like this better because I hate feeling like I'm talking at you guys. That's like hella weird for me not to be able to just like talk to you guys. Little Miss Chocolate, I love the sound of your voice. I'm so glad you came up. And yeah, Miss Dillard, try to come up. We're gonna wait because Dillard Pat was having a problem where she was like hearing everybody. So I want to wait for her and see, because this is kind of like a test to you guys, to see if she can come up and if she'll be able to talk and feel like she can only just hear herself or no one. Oh, you're not hearing more voices now? Oh, okay. Well, then hopefully you can come up. Try to come up. Oh, wait, you may not be able to. Try to come up and talk. Hold on, we're doing another test. The end of this is just one big test session. I want to see if she can come up. Oh, how do you talk? That's a good question. I don't. Oh, allow to talk. Oh, that's my fault. My fault. My fault. Okay, try to talk now. I forgot that I have to let people talk. My bad. Try now, Dillard. Oh, I don't think she can hear me. Okay, I don't think she can do it. Okay, that's fine. So anyway, I'm gonna come back in a little bit, probably like between 20 and 30 minutes. I'm gonna come back, no. I'm gonna try to come back in like 20 or 30 minutes. So thank you, Miss Chocolate, for coming up, and Joe and Aaron. Your picture is so creepy. Why'd you change your avatar? What is that, like a filter to make your head look, your forehead look big and your bottom face look smushed? You guys can't see his avatar, but it's really funny.
Oh, my picture?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it looks like your, let me see it. I can't see it. I can't make it big, but from what I can see, it looks like you have a filter on it.
No, I don't.
Okay, maybe it's not big enough for the thing. It's really, really tiny. Like it's smaller than like a dime. It's like smaller than half a dime. So I can't really see it, but I can kind of see it and it looks a little, I wish I could like actually see like bigger, but I probably can. I just probably don't know how to do it.
Maybe I could take another picture or something. You think that would work?
It looks like, you know, those, you know, the filter that makes your eyes really big. Do you have really giant eyes?
I thought I had normal eyes.
Okay, then it's distorted. It's definitely distorted. At least it's distorted from what I can see. It looks like you have like those big doll eyes. that the filters make, and then like a little smushed face. So
Oh, wow.
it's so funny. Yeah, it looks really funny. You know the old people, like the old people faces that they do?
Oh man, you know what? People tell me all the time. I guess I really should start practicing smiling more.
No, I don't think that it's your expression. I think that it's a filter because your eyeballs look like they take up like your whole entire head.
Oh wow, damn.
So I think I don't think that it's anything other than like a filter. I really think that's it.
I feel
But
so
anyway, you
embarrassed.
guys, thank you for coming up, Erin, because I wanted to make sure it works. And this is honestly my first time using Zoom. So, well, I did a test earlier today, but this is my first time like really doing a live with it.
I
So
think it's all our first time. Mine also my first time participating on it. So yeah.
yeah, it's super easy. So I love that. So I will be back in like 20 or 30 minutes to do the other one. And so, yeah, thank you guys all. Thank you, Erin and Little Miss Chocolate and Joe and Dillard Pat for coming up and helping me just make sure that the panel part of it worked. And I will see you guys in about 30 minutes.